And of course, the great, wonderful three-legged engine stand that I end up with oil all over the... Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you for being part of it. This week is a 2, 3, or 4-part series, whatever it takes. This is a VW Thing motor, which is the same as the Beetle engine. It's a 1600 dual port. I paused on the 68 project temporarily to do this for somebody. We're going to do a top-end rebuild on it. So we are going to also do an alternator conversion. He's not going to use the generator. So we're going to take that all apart and show you how to properly shim the alternator and fan in there so it doesn't rub. We're going to put new pistons and jugs on it. We are going to clean up a set of heads he gave me with it and put them on because the studs are broken on these. And I guess he didn't want, me to mess around trying to extract them. And clean up the whole thing, put it all back together. New oil cooler seals. We'll do a video on that. New rear main seal or crankshaft seal, flywheel seal, whatever you want to call it. And reline the clutch. I'm going to see if he has a new clutch plate. So there's going to be a lot of how-to DIY in this whole package of 2, 3, 4 videos of how to do random things while you're rebuilding the top end and new seals. So it ought to be some really high information videos that we're going to do on this motor. And then we'll get back on the 68 because we want to smack it hard. I want it done by May so I could take it to car shows. So let's get started. I hope you enjoy these few videos we're going to be doing on this. So let's check the motor out first real quick here. All right, the carburetor is actually good on this. He did say it was rebuilt, so we'll clean it up a little nicer because we're going to go ahead and paint all of the tins, the fan shroud. This motor is going to look beautiful when it's done. We're going to go ahead and paint the pulley, put the new alternator on. Alternator's in the bag right there, along with heat boxes that you can tell are not used. We're going to go ahead and clean them up and paint them too. And all the way around, fresh tune-up. We'll shim the new alternator in there and a new fuel pump. It's going to be really nice when it's done. But we do have to go ahead. We have the big box there with the new pistons and jugs. And I believe those are the stainless steel push rod tubes. So we're going to be putting all new seals on and get everything done on it. So let's go ahead first and get the oil drained out. First thing we need to do is take a 21 millimeter and let's get the oil out of here. Okay, that wasn't very tight. Okay, I'll speed up the film while the oil's draining. Wow, is that oil nasty? Holy crap. And of course, the great, wonderful three-legged engine stand that I end up with oil all over the... I hate these stands. I'd like to get a 4-legged one, but money only goes so far. Okay, so once you're done draining the oil all over the floor, your pan fell over. Let's go on to the next thing. Now, what I like to do, okay, now these heads here aren't going to be staying with this motor because the studs are snapped off. I still like to go ahead, run a wire brush over the threads just lightly, just to get the crap off of the ends of them. Hit them with some PB on each one, and then we'll try taking them off. Try to wait sometimes for, I don't know, 15 minutes, let it soak in, but I already did it. What I did for you there was just a show, technically. All right, heater boxes first. And I tried a 13 on these, which was a little wonky, probably because the nuts are old and rounded a little. So I put a 1/2 inch on it. Okay. Whew. Let me see if the other will. I'm trying to save these because this motor only has 40-some thousand miles on it. So, here we go. I want to go ahead, try to take these off the best I can because I'm going to try to extract them studs out of here regardless because they're a good set of heads. That way maybe he can keep them on hand, or maybe he'll give them to me. Say, hey, you saved them, you keep them. So we'll see. He's always giving me stuff anyhow. Come on. Okay. All right. See, when you treat these right, they will come off. You just can't go cowboy on it and, you know, start getting reckless and busting stuff off, because that's what happens. And I'm not making fun of him for it. It's just is what it is, you know. Okay. Almost. He got copper nuts for the putting the new ones on. Just trying to watch what I was doing. Just to tap it loose, just like that. And then you have, oops, stupid. Now before you remove the heater boxes, okay, you have to go ahead and remove the flanges from the tins. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'll bring you in a little closer. I like to wire brush around them to get the crap off so that the penetrating oil can soak in. So, little squirt. Alrighty. Now make sure you spray on the other sides of the threads too. Okay. You'll be spraying on the other sides of the threads inside the screws where they go into. Okay. I didn't need to shove the camera in there to show you that. Now, these are slotted screws. Here's what I like doing, because I know they've been in there forever, since 1974. So I like to use the vice grips when I can. And gently, treat it like it's a little puppy. Okay. Well, don't put vice grips on your puppy. Okay. If you get a screwdriver in there, you're going to start rounding it out because they've been in there forever. All right. So that didn't grab. Let me get this on there. A little grunting. There we go. Okay. Gently. See? And there you have it. All right. Get your favorite screwdriver and you can take it off now. Now, I'm not saying you have to use vice grips, but that's the way I do it, and it sure makes life a little bit simpler. But you got to make sure you take your wire brush and clean up around the area, because if not, the penetrating oil is not going to get inside of there. It'll lay on the outer rusts. Probably should do a demonstration on that one day, like a detailed one, but I don't like to bore you with dumb stuff. It's just something I've been doing for years, and it's proved to work out quite well. Okay, almost, bear with me, because we're going to pre-soak a couple things while we got the engine on its side. Make sure you drain your oil before you turn your motor on its side. Okay, while we are at it, to save yourself trouble for later, let's take our little brush. And I know some of you are thinking this is ridiculous, but it's not, because you want to clean these up. So hopefully, I mean, it's not saying they won't break off, but you want to clean these up in advance. And that way, it might help. That one looks bad. That one don't look too bad, but I guarantee you they're going to give me trouble. That one right there looks really, really nasty. I can tell. I don't even see a screw head on it, oddly enough. Let's see here. You can see. Wow, what the heck? I have no idea. That's weird. There it is. So what we'll do is tap the dirt out of there, I guess. Wow. Okay. Let's hit it again now. We got it all cleaned up. Okay. I want to try something while we're here to see. Come on, baby. That one's going to give me trouble. I can tell. I don't know if you can see, but the... Come on, just break loose. There we go. See, when you take your time. Okay, I just had to see if this one would break loose without breaking off. Okay, the screwdriver's too big for that, but there's what I'm getting at. When you can, you want to pre-soak, wire brush, and clean around the heads. If I didn't, that would have broke off. There is no doubt in my mind it would have broke off. All right, we're on our other heater box here. And, okay. Whew. They've been on there forever. Okay, I won't sing. That was terrible. Come on, get on there, baby. I had to squeeze a 12 on there. Okay. That's why you use copper nuts. This one's giving me a problem. No, I don't want to grab. I don't have enough room in here to grab it. Nope. All right, let me try something else here. Let's see if we can split the nut. We'll give it a try. I never have luck doing this. Well, I guess that time I did. Did you see what I'd done there? Okay, and try not to get in your way here. So I know you're very excited to see this. And there we go. Okay, and even saved the threads. Not bad for a dum-dum. I already went ahead and I pre-treated these because you've seen what I did on the other side. So I'm going to put vice grips on. You do what you want. But at least, I know the screws, since they've been in there forever, the screw heads will probably strip out. Although that didn't want to grab very good that time. Let's try again. There we go. Truthfully, you're better off going to Ace Hardware and replacing these. Take one with you, compare the notes, and get one with bolt heads so you can bump, bump, bump. Now remember, when you're cleaning these all up, I ain't afraid of breaking the bolt, but I'm afraid of breaking the bolt off inside the tins. And you don't want aftermarket tins if you can help it. There it went on the floor, no big deal. Okay, so what you'll need to do, just gently, I didn't check mine, and give it a tap. I just seen something weird. Okay, look at this. I'll bring you in close. That is a different stud. And somehow this stud, the threads on it seem to be larger than the opening for the heater box, which is quite odd. It's like they put the heater box on and wound this in. Let me check it. Give me 1 second. I started to turn it and it broke. No big deal. Like I said, there's new heads for this. I can drill that out. Actually, the heater boxes are junk, so no big deal there either. So let's take that off. That goes to the scrap pile because they're really bad. Alrighty. Okay, I've cleaned, which, let me give them one more little brush job. Okay, because we don't want them breaking off in the block, if you can help it. I've done these before and had to re-drill them. It just isn't what I would call fun to do. Okay, now let's cross our fingers. And I'll get you in close. There we go. Like butter. I guarantee, had I not done that, they'd have broke off in the engine block. Of course, we're not done yet, so. And there you go. Like butter. You know, if you take out time and you take them extra steps, and I know you get tired of hearing me talk, it makes life simpler. Because if not, then I'd be drilling out the block and trying to tap and all that, and it's just not fun. We want to get this one so we can take this off, because we're going to need to clean up that thermostat and go ahead and remove that so it's already out of the way when we pull the fan shroud. So let's clean this bolt up. Okay, just so you see where I am, we put the motor back up. You have one more screw back there. I'm going to bring you in close. Now, I already did pre-treat and wire brushed and cleaned it up. So, get your screwdriver in there. Okay. Whew. Okay. Make sure you grunt a little bit. Always helps, I think. So what happened? Actually, it worked out pretty well. That hole here, where the screw head was, ended up rounding out a little bit, and the screw head pulled through it. So that's actually not a bad thing. It's better than everything breaking apart or bending. So I'll flatten this hole out a little bit, make it nice and smooth, and then we'll just use a little bit of a larger washer because the screw head is still in there, which is perfect because I'll soak it, and then I'll take a pair of channel locks and pull it right out without breakage. While we are at it, we are going to go ahead and we are going to remove the thermostat because it's easy to get to with the sled off. I call it a sled, it's the tin, because we're pretty shortly here, we're going to be pulling the fan shroud off. So you never want to yank on that spring. So let me do that. The thermostat is underneath the passenger side, okay? So let's clean that up a little wee bit there with a brush. If you do this, I can assure you, you're going to have a lot more luck. Instead of just trying to spray penetrating oil, I should say, and then it can't get to the threads because there's rust buildup around it. I'm trying to save stuff for him, so, you know, you do a little more on there. Boink. There we go. You always got to say boink. It helps a lot. Okay. Let me bring you in closer. Okay, 13 millimeter. Okay, now, there. Don't get crazy. Back and forth very gently. That's been in there a long time and you don't want to ruin the thermostat. I'm going to test this one for him. I believe it's good because it's collapsed, but we're going to test it in hot water with a temperature gauge to make sure it's functioning properly. I don't want to use a ratchet. I could, but I won't because I don't want to put too much pressure on it. If it breaks, I can't help it, but I'm trying to keep that from happening. There we go. Okay, stop again. Little squirt. Now remember, don't take this one off first or you're going to have this thing flying everywhere. Okay. It's just this thermostat bolt has been in there a long time. Since I was a little kid running the streets or jumping ramps. Okay, there we go. Now it's coming out like it should. Don't ever just crank on it with a ratchet, even if you've already pre-treated it, because you will break the bolt. And Awesome Powder Coat sells these thermostats, not the Mexican ones, these ones. And they're about 140 or I don't know, they're expensive, but they're good. But we're going to test this one and make sure it's good. If you're doing a top end rebuild, do everything the right way. Even if I got to break this up into 4 videos, you'll see that I'm a little weird about doing stuff. Because when he gets the motor back, he's going to be very happy with it. Or even if it was my own motor, you know. Okay, I got to hold that a minute. There. Now, that'll give us opportunity to clean the threads up in the thermostat. Okay, 13 here. Already pre-treated that. Oops. This block's going to need pressure washed. It's really poopy. Poopy, poopy. Don't forget your washer. I guess you can see how that bracket is. We're going to clean that up and paint it too. Let me spray where the rod's going in so it soaks into it a little bit. Okay, now you're going to go ahead, be gentle. See? There you go. When you treat stuff right and you prep, even when it comes to body work or not, prep is everything. I've prepped everything and we've been having a lot of luck. And that's the way you do it. Alrighty. That thread's onto there. These are a must. You want these on. And I won't lecture you again because I lectured in my thermostat videos and I'm sure I upset a few people, but I don't care. For those of you that are new to this, there's the rod that goes up and it controls the flaps. Okay, so that's on your thermostat. This is why you had to remove that, because when you lift the fan shroud up, you'd have been pulling on that and wondering what was wrong, like I did when I was 16 and couldn't figure out why it wouldn't come off. Next, we are going to get the carburetor out of the way, the coil out of the way, start moving some of that stuff. So let's get on that. We'll do the coil first. One thing I wanted to explain while it's on my mind. You see this metal tube that curls under there. I see a lot of people will have a vacuum line from here to there. You can't do that. You need this on there, okay? Because if this spews some gas back through here, it pretty much, I'll use the word evaporate. It evaporates in here without going straight down into your vacuum advance. It can't make it up, over, and down. Make sure you have this on there. Wolfsburg West sells them if not. Okay, get in here and get our coil out of the way. Oh, he had no wire in there. So, no wire in the fuse holder. Oh my goodness. That was a stupid. I don't know why I'm talking like Borat. I'm going to test this coil too to see if it's good, or I'll ask him. Maybe he already had this running before. I don't know. I think he did. Yeah, no point in testing the coil. Never mind. You have two 10mm bolts. Let's take the other one out. You said you didn't disconnect the wires yet. I know. Your wire from your choke thermostat is what I call it. Goes around, branches off to the shutoff valve. My God, that's loose. And it branches off. And I'm going to try to show, I can't get you in there. And it goes to 15 on the coil. 15 is positive. And there's number 1 is negative. That is going to the condenser on the coil. Once again, this condenser wire goes to the negative side of the coil. Actually, number 1, if it's a German one. This setup here that goes from the choke thermostat to the shutoff valve goes to the positive side of the coil, which would be number 15. Okay? When you turn the key on, or have somebody turn it on for you, you'll hear this click. It'll go clink, and you know it's working. Okay? Enough now we are going to go ahead and take off the carburetor to get it out of the way. Here, let me move the cap. I'll show you something why I told him to get a different intake. I'll show you once we get the carburetor off. And it'll make sense why I'm picky about what I do. Okay, 13mm wrench. They do have an S-shaped 13mm wrench that can get back in there easier. There should have been a washer on that, and there wasn't. Oh, well, that nut's not even tight. Oh my, what went on here? Let's take this vacuum line out of the way. Okay, I'm back in here, loosening the other nut. It wasn't even tight. Okay, and we got to loosen our fuel line. Should have did that before I loosened the carburetor up, idiot. There we go. And there's gas, of course. That should be it. There is the carburetor. Grab that cheap thin gasket. There's a crap gasket on it. We're not putting that back on. The reason I told him to get another intake, which he has plenty laying around, you can see this is moving. It shouldn't be. Down inside of here, there is a stud. I'll take a picture and point to it. There should be a flange going down there from the intake so that it can't move. All right, now there's no specific order for certain things, but what I'm going to do next is loosen the strap up to the generator, and we're going to go ahead and disconnect the rest of the bolts in the fan shroud and pull it off out of the way. So let's get started on that. All right, so I turned the motor sideways. Now you don't have to, but for filming purposes, it's much easier. So we're going to loosen a strap first on the generator. Now that is a 13mm. I put a short wrench on the bolt. I don't know if I'm going to block you, but I may for a second, because I have to get the strap loosened up, and the little wrench came off. This will be a hard one for you to watch me do, but I'll show you when I'm done here what went on, as I always do. There we go. You might be able to see it. I don't know. I'm not behind the camera right now. So if you can't see it, I apologize. I'll show you in a second what I did. This is a little bit of a tight area, but it's okay. It's part of the game. It's just what happens. Let me see if I can get in there with my fingers. Yes, I can. And this gentleman told me if you need the generator and the stand, keep it. And I'm very thankful for that because I'm going to put that on the 68. I like the generators. Although, you know, there's nothing wrong with the new alternators. I'm just talking while I'm loosening that nut. But I have had some bad luck with them. I bought an AC Delco one and it was crap. So, okay. We got the nut off. There we go. I don't know if you could see that. Okay, so let's get the bolt out of there. I'll probably drop it. If I do, it's not a big deal. We'll pick it up. Okay. All right, let me turn the engine back upright. Now, if you need an engine stand, you know, check the marketplace first. A lot of times they're on there pretty cheap. If not, Harbor Freight. Get a four-legged one. You'll thank me later. Well, not really. Okay. Take your strap, slide it back. Okay. Just like that. You want it clear back against the shroud because what you're doing is moving it away from here so it can come up. We are around the back of the motor. Okay. Now, do you see this spring? Okay. It is very, very important. See this linkage? See this linkage that's moving? That is for the flaps. If you screw up and you don't put this spring back on there and the flaps stay closed and your motor overheats and, you know, something nasty hits the planet, then it's your own fault. Okay? Make sure you don't lose that spring. I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm not cutting it. And take it off. And remember which way it goes on. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and start loosening up the rest of the stuff to the doggy house. We are on the driver's side. We're going to give a little squirt. Okay. 10 millimeter. Let's take this bolt off. Very gently. There you go. Now, you don't have to take this one out all the way. Okay, because this is slotted. I'll show you after I removed it. So I came around the driver's side, or the driver's side. I'm sorry. I don't know what I said before any other one. As you can see, the bolt's missing. Don't leave bolts out. Don't do that. I don't know why somebody did that. See how it's slotted? You just loosen it up a little and you'll be able to lift the shroud off. Always put your bolts back. I hate when I run into that and see bolts missing. We are around the back. So this is where the oil cooler is back here. Give a little, oh, missed it. Give it a little spray there. You have a bolt here that you need to remove. There we go. You know, and I'm not being a wise guy by lecturing. That's not my goal. My goal is to make sure, not that I'm the best or anything, that you folks see what to do to save yourself a lot of trouble. Like I'm having right now. There we go. My socket was stuck. I just got to pull the spark plug wires away from the keepers. That's what I call them anyhow. Come on, get off there. There we go. That wire's just in the way. And I think I have everything. Always double check. Move slow. Take your time. Okay, we're around back, right where I just took that spring off of the linkage, okay? I'm going to disconnect a little one there. And then there's one behind here. I'll show you once I get it apart. And take that bar off. If not, it hits the oil cooler. Give me 1 second. Okay, all these clips do is you just bend slightly. These been on there a while. Okay, and that's it. Whoops, there you are. And don't lose them, but I guess you know that. And remember which order they went in on. Some have washers, some don't. Okay, there's a washer on there. Let me see if that will move out far enough. It might. Yes, it will. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let me check. Make sure I'm not hung up on anything. Okay. Let me back up the camera. I am stuck with that little bracket on the oil cooler. That's it. There's always something important I have to say. If you, in fact, are going to remove the distributor, do not remove the distributor and then turn your pulley. Don't do that, please. You will shear off the gear, okay? So if you must remove the distributor, I'm probably going to remove it later for cleaning purposes. So, since we're rebuilding it, don't remove the distributor and turn the pulley. I repeated it twice. That should be good enough. Let's pull the intake. So you have two 10 millimeter. Here, get a better camera angle here for you. That's good as it's going to get right now. Okay, so the heck is this? Some type of snap ring. It's all kind of little things. Okay, let's pull our spark plug wires. Get them out of the way. Okay, now what we're going to do, I know you think I'm going overboard with some of this, but wire brush the threads. Okay, pretend like you have to keep these heads, because most of you probably do, in all honesty. So, okay, now we're going to hit it with some juju. There we go. There we go. You're best off to let it soak a little. So you're going to get your happy 13 millimeter. I don't know why I said that. Uh-oh. Okay. If you notice, I'm using a 1/4 inch ratchet. Why? Because I want to. Well, I put less stress on them when I do that. So, alrighty. Get our swivel in there. This is a pain in the butt. Wish they'd have came out with a different idea for this. Ooh, it didn't break. Sounded like it, but it didn't. Alrighty. Till magnet and get the washers, because you don't want them dropping down inside anything. Now we are on the passenger side. So let's go ahead. Okay. Now remember, if you had that nut back in there like I showed you, you got to loosen that in there. I'll show you when I get this off. Whoops. I got to get in front of you. There we go. Intake off. This should have a little brace here, okay? And it would go right there with a nut on it, okay? That's why I told him to get a different intake, which he has a bunch of them, so we'll be doing it that way. Let's get the generator standoff next, and I'm going to point something out important on it. Okay, let's get in there. 13 millimeter. Okay, and I need to, whoop, give me that. Have them back here. I got to try not to get in your way. Okay, and here, I'll move my hand. Give me a second. Okay, that wasn't even tight. Oh, people! It's okay. When we put this together, it'll be nice. Okay, I'm taking this completely off while I'm on it, since I broke the other ones loose already. And I think the whole stud must be coming out the way it feels. No. It's not coming off at all. Wait a second. That is strange. I've never had that happen before. on that. Somebody was into this because there's parts missing. Parts and parts. Parts are missing off of it. So somebody was playing around at one point, and I'll bet you they screwed up that stud. Guarantee it. Because it'd be odd for a washer to be missing off of that. Okay, I'm going to try a little trick here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to do it really fast with this while I'm lifting on it. See if it'll... There it comes. There we go. That's what you do. You spin it quick. Now I will go ahead and check this. The stud did not come out. Okay, can you see? Okay, I wasn't sure. I'll see why it did that. And yeah, I did. They can tell the threads are all screwed up on it. Look, I'll show you what I mean. See that? Somebody was on it before. I'll have to get it figured out. So I'm probably going to have to pull this out of here and hope it don't break. I'll double nut it and try to pull the stud out. But I'm going to ask the owner first what he wants to do. And here's another reason I know somebody was in there. There is supposed to be, let me see, I don't think I have one right now. It looks like this. It is supposed to be in there. Somebody was inside this motor. So it is what it is. I hope he has a good engine, you know. But we can either, let me see here, if he doesn't want to get into chancing anything breaking with pulling a stud, we can actually put some washers on that, is what we can do, which won't be a problem, but it's his call, whatever he wants to do. Somebody was in there. You're supposed to have that on there so oil don't throw back up into the oil filler cap. So, oh people, now we're going to go ahead and remove the fuel pump. Okay, so let's get our little, well, I can use this, I guess, while I'm at it. 13 millimeter. Okay, that's one. We are prepared. And somebody was in here because the nut's loose. I think there was something I wasn't told about this motor because there's stuff missing and things are loose and I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. What a crap saying, huh? Okay, let me, because I'm trying to keep the nuts and bolts with each other. When you remove the fuel pump, you will have a gasket. Okay. You will have your spacer block. You know what? Wait 1 second. We don't want all that crap going down in there. So let's clean that up just a hair right there. Okay, give me 1 second here. Let me back you up. Got to clean it up a little bit. I don't want junk falling down inside the engine. Okay, I'm sure that's fine with you. There we go. Alrighty. We have our fuel pump spacing that is stuck. Let me give it a little tap. Easy. This is plastic at Bakelite or whatever the heck it is. Don't hit it hard. I'm barely tapping. Come on. Come on. Okay, it's starting to chip. No big deal. Let me get the rod out. Don't forget your rod. Generator has one size, alternator has another size. For the fuel pump, they're different. There we go. Okay. And that broke off in there. That's just great. and I'll show you what I mean. See that down inside of there? I got to figure out how to get that out of there. But let me get on it. So now what we have is the stem to this old Bakelite busted off down into the motor. All right. Now what we got to be careful is this will go down inside of there. But I'm probably going to try to tap that, the inside of the plastic, okay? I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going to try to run a tap through there after I keep PB blasting the crap out of it. Turn the motor upside down so nothing falls in and try to get it down and out. So I'll report back on that. Okay, so here's what had to happen. I called the owner to show him what was going on, and he stopped over. As you can see, we sent a tap into this. Okay. Okay, where's that tap at?
Here's the tap.
Let's see.
No good.
Doesn't wanna.
Maybe one more drill size.
I think so. Real wonky setup, okay? But we went ahead and sent a tap into it. I'm going to be stripping this down to the short block, so it's not a big deal, with the plate off the bottom and make sure nothing's inside. But if you do look at this, before I drop it down inside the motor, you can see nothing broke off. It wasn't easy to get out though. It was a little bit difficult, so this isn't something I wish on anybody if you're not splitting the case. So we did do that and we extracted it out. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to pull that stud out of there because I don't like that. I don't want to start stacking washers and playing games. So as you know, we went ahead and had that one funky stud on there. All right, so I double nutted it. Let me bring you in closer. And I tightened them up. And let's see. Okay, the stud's starting to turn. Okay. Because we got to make this right, you know. Okay. Let me see here. Seems to be coming out okay. I'll just have to have him get another stud. Okay, so this came right out. And as you can see right here, just this area here was buggered up. So you double nut it and then take your time. The threads are still good in the block and on here. Okay? All right, so that wasn't a whole lot of fun. However, we did get it out of there. I just ran a tap down through it, but I had to keep playing around because it was shredding. So you got to watch. You don't want a bunch of stuff in your motor. But eventually I was able to clamp the vice grips on it and hold on to it. And my buddy was tapping on the vice grips as I held, and it slowly came out. That was a pain in the butt. At least I showed you what happened and showed you the fix for it, because it would have been almost impossible to put a camera inside the motor. I forgot to hit the record button. I pulled the pulley off. No big deal. All I did is 30mm nut. I used my speed gun and pulled the pulley off, so not a big deal. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed part one. I'm going to keep it between 15 to 20-minute videos so people don't just fast forward through or get bored. So probably be a 3-4 part series tops. And we're going to do our pistons, our heads, everything. So, and lots of tips the whole way through. So I'm going to try to be on chat tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Check the community tab on the channel here, or Facebook. Either way, I always alert everybody when I'm going to be on. So I'll probably see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on live chat. I hope everybody's had a great day and your new year is starting out well.